Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farce Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. First and foremost, see the people in the comments. Good Lord. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. A series of unfortunate events trying to get everything started. Everything's good now. Well, here we are. So much to get into today. I don't know how many times I watched it yesterday, but I watched it a bunch. Nicole Lynn, the agent for Jalen Hurts, had an interview, and I was trying to find like where this interview was taking place. I just saw multiple clips of it. And one of the things that really annoys me about all these different social media accounts is they never credit where they get the sound or the clip or whatever. So she was doing an interview, and she revealed that during the contract negotiations for Jalen Hurts, before he signed his mega quarterback deal that has now been dwarfed by others, but whatever. She revealed that during the process, he did not want to be updated on anything. Just let me know when it's done. He just wanted to concentrate on football, which is okay, fine. But the other thing was that he didn't want a deal that was so ridiculous his team wouldn't be around him. He wanted to make sure that everyone was going to get theirs. And sure enough, everyone still got theirs. He got his, and then Howie Roseman is a wizard with the cap, and everybody else got theirs as well. But she revealed that he didn't want updates. He didn't want to know. Just let me know when it's done. That's it. And then when she came back to him, and she's like, hey, highest deal, biggest deal ever. He was like, what? Well, hold on. Wait a minute. She gave her reaction to all that. But it was really fascinating to hear kind of look under the hood of how all that was put together. So we'll talk about that. We'll hear from her on it with this interview, so you hear it yourself. The Phillies win their fifth straight. They beat the Marlins last night 5-2. It was a 5-2 score. And I got to say, I honestly felt like a lot of the game was 11-2. Like, I just felt like the Phillies had it. When it was a one-run game and they started talking on the broadcast about Orion Kerkering coming in to close it out, I was like, okay, I can't remember him closing out a game, but all right, let's go with this. And sure enough, it was his first career save. And he was great. 12 pitches, got through the ninth inning, put his first career save in his back pocket. Phillies win 5-2. Alec Boehm came up with a big hit in the top of the ninth inning to ensure a victory, more or less. Put him up by 3 as opposed to just 1. Trey Turner led it off with a home run. When you get that first, that's probably why I felt like this game was going to be the Phillies from jump. Simply because you started the game, 2 pitches into it, you're up 1-0. Game 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays, completing the sweep, 2 pitches into the game, you're up 1-0. This was a little bit different because 2 pitches into the game, Trey Turner's at the plate. He hits his 8th home run of the season to center field, a wall scraper, but gives the Phillies a 1-0 lead. And then they just went on to just do great. Just Mick Abel looked good. I do have a question. And when I was doing postcast last night, of course, I can't hear or see what Rob Thompson's talking about. I got to rely on what people are posted on social media about it. And I was like, why is he taking Mick Abel out of this game? It's the first time I've ever heard of anyone being taken out of the game because he's going to be on regular rest. I've never heard that before. Well, he's going to be on regular rest, so I wanted to make sure that he was good. So I only threw 77 pitches, 1 run in last night's game. Got into a little bit of trouble in the 3rd inning, I think it was, and then settled in real nice 2nd inning. Got in a little bit of trouble, but got out of it. And it wasn't even really his fault. He had to throw 11 more pitches in the inning because Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire, doesn't know what a strike is. We'll get that. But all in all, great game last night by the Phils. And you picked up a half game on the idle New York Metropolitans. That's right, they were off last night. Now they start tonight, a 3-game series in Atlanta with the Braves. Yesterday was off. Phillies obviously playing 3 more games against the Marlins before coming to Philly. And this is the type of game that I'd love to see again, where obviously the Phillies win. They got Jesus Luzardo going against his old mates tonight, 6:10 start time, by the way, so set your clocks accordingly. 6:10 start time, Jesus Luzardo goes, but another win like this, just do enough to win and be comfortable in the 9th inning. Do enough to win, comfortable in the 9th inning, and we're all good. It was the same situation, by the bare minimum, 3-run lead coming in. But all in all, throughout the game, just felt like the Phillies were in control. I never heard of a pitcher being taken out of the game because he's about to be on regular rest. I was like, we keep on finding new ways to just make excuses to not do what we used to do back in the day. And in all honesty and fairness, the Phillies are the closest to an old school mentality baseball team. I know some people might not want to hear that, but when you lead the league in quality starts as a team, when you're constantly having guys go 6 innings and other guys are being pulled in the 4th inning with regularity, you honestly feel like you're watching 90s baseball, early 2000s baseball, which I just, that's the baseball I grew up with. That's baseball I fell in love with. But 5 innings yesterday for Mick Abel, 77 pitches being taken out of the game because he's going to be on regular rest just seemed odd. The last time I shook my head that much, no, it wasn't when pitch count became the most, all the rage. It's when up downs became the rage. Well, you can't have a guy pitch 2 innings out of both. He sits down, he gets up. I mean, who can handle that? A professional athlete, maybe? Hogwash. He sits down, he gets up. That's like 10 innings right there. But yeah, that's what we'll let you hear from Rob Thompson himself, and as he'll try to explain it, and maybe you can make it make sense to me. I don't know. NBA Finals last night. TJ McConnell. It's a shame. Looks like the Pacers are going to lose. Looks like TJ McConnell's not going to win Finals MVP, which is, if he had another performance like he did last night, he'd have a chance at it. The Oklahoma City. Everything that we thought going into this series about the Oklahoma City Thunder that happened last night. They just controlled. They took a 10-point lead in the first quarter and then just controlled the game from that point on. Tyrese Halliburton, I think it was an ankle injury or hamstring injury in the first quarter. Did not make a field goal in the first half. Came back out in the second half. Finished with like 6 points, I think it was. Not impressive for Tyrese Halliburton last night. But Jalen Williams, a 40-point game. He had 2 drives with about the Thunder were up 6 late in the fourth quarter, about 5 minutes left, so midway through the fourth quarter. And Jalen Williams had 2 drives, just like hot knife through butter. It was like, wow, the Pacers can't even get in front of that. There's no hope for them the rest of the way. I was watching the Phillies through most of the night, flipping back and forth. Obviously, I got Phillies postcast responsibilities and whatnot. But I look at I was checking in on the finals games, and then, about 6 minutes left in the game. Jalen Williams has 2 drives. SGA is a little bunny. And I was like, okay, well, that's that. As great as the Pacers have been in comebacks, in not dying, they died in the fourth quarter of that game last night. OKC's got to look to win it now in Indianapolis and close it out. But everything we thought going into the series basically took place in last night's game. That the Thunder were just going to be too much for the Pacers. And then the other thing, and this is a credit to both teams, I was saying going into this finals, I feel like this is going to be a game where both teams are just running. I feel like track meet type games is the old cliche. Last night was a track meet type game. And I will say from a personal perspective, just rooting on TJ McConnell. I was joking about the MVP, obviously, but I had thoughts of like a former Sixer in an NBA Finals, guys that had stuck out to you. Well, it worked out really well for Andre Iguodala. He was only a Finals MVP. That remains for me one of the most ridiculous, like in a good way. Like somebody, you couldn't tell me this. I'm sorry. He joins first off. Andre Iguodala leaves the Sixers, gets traded. He then goes on to be a Finals MVP, and Steph Curry is on his team. What? TJ McConnell, again, not that I think it was going to be competing for MVP or anything like that, but just like finals worthy, finals performances from a former Sixer that I just wouldn't expect. I would expect TJ McConnell to come in, do his thing, get some steals like he did in, game 3? I would expect that, but I wouldn't expect it for an 18-point performance or anything like that. But how about that for TJ McConnell? Not too shabby. So, yeah, we got a lot to get into. Let's start it off with Jalen Hurts in this conversation here. What do I got? Sorry, April. I just saw I'll just get it up here. Early comment from April. Early chat check. Dark shirt Mark always makes me think there's a rant coming. I remember the days of just wearing the gray shirt. That was enough to make, Mark's in a bad mood. Yeah, no, just thought I'd change it up a little bit with the darker shirt. I like this, the dark blue, the navy blue, if you will. Dark shirt, bad news. But all right, let's get into Jalen Hurts and what went on with this. So his agent, Nicole Lynn, who negotiated the 5-year, $250 million deal, is doing an interview. And she's asked about the whole process of putting the contract together for Jalen Hurts. And this is the way she walked us through it.
The day that the deal was done and saying, hey, you're the highest paid player in NFL history. And his response was, well, I didn't ask you to do all that. And I was just like, okay. All right. Thanks. I thought you were going to say, thank you. Good job. Yeah, But he was so concerned about his team. Yes. Like, how am I going to keep my team around? How are these guys still going to be paid? And he wanted me to show him. Mm-hmm. How does it affect the cap? So the option bonuses help Jalen to have peace that, hey, don't worry that you're getting $51 million a year. We've done it this way so it doesn't affect the cap. Mm-hmm. The cap hit is not that large. Like, he needed to be educated on that before he would let me accept the deal because he cared so much about his teammates.
I've made this point before. I've made this point before about Jalen Hurts. All my life, and maybe all of yours, we've talked about a quarterback. We've waited for a quarterback. We've argued about the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. The guy we've wanted all this time is the guy that is here right now. From all the flashes of hope that we've had, I don't want to take this for granted for a second. And even going through last year, a 10-game winning streak, controlling games, Saquon Barkley's incredible run, Jalen Hurts dropping dimes, like all these things, all through last year. Even 3 years ago, making it to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts in his second year as a starting quarterback. Through all of that, I wanted to just savor it. Because one thing just was on repeat in my mind from Jalen Hurts by moment of like, whoa, this guy might be exactly what we want here in Philadelphia. The drama that was surrounding him going into his second year as a starter, taking over, obviously, for Carson Wentz and all that. The thing that really jumped out to me was through the rumors about Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers and the report of the Eagles actually offering Russell Wilson a contract and him saying no thanks and going to Denver. All through that, Jalen Hurts was no drama. He was whatever the organization wants to do. No, he was, I really hope they know. I'm just trying to work. He was, hey, whoa, I'm above it all. All the conversations that are out there, they're out there. Can't do anything about it. I can only control what's going on out there, pointing to the field at the NovaCare complex. I went, oh, damn. I'm like, that's something an assassin would say. That's something that like a football assassin would say. And he has lived that every moment since. And everything that I've heard him talk about, the style of play, everything is about, wait for it, the main thing. It's not about headlines. It's not about rumors. It's about what goes out there on the football field. Oh, and he just happened to win a Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. That kind of solidifies everything. To hear his agent, first off, I can only imagine an agent, trying to get the biggest buck, biggest payday for their client, doing their, kind of doing their job. She gets it. Nicole Lynn gets that big deal for her client. And the first thing, after, again, her client says, don't tell me anything until it's done. And she goes, you're the highest paid player in NFL history. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. In his mind, I'm sure the first thing was AJ's gone. Devontae's not going to stay here. We can't make any other major acquisitions because everyone's paying me. And she's like, no, it doesn't. It's not working like that. The cap money can be, you're good. It's everyone. You can stay, and Devontae can stay, and AJ can stay, and Landon Dickerson can stay, and Jordan Mailata can stay. And Jason Kelsey could come back for another year. You're good, man. You're good. And then I don't even realize it now. What is it? It's like seventh highest paid. Like Brock Purdy just broke the bank on all of this. Credit to Jalen Hurts, I can't say it enough to people that don't realize this. The quarterback position of the Philadelphia Eagles, there is no position in all of sports that is scrutinized under the microscope more than the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Nothing gets more than that. There might be things that get right there, but nothing's more than that. And Jalen Hurts doesn't give a damn. Doesn't care about anything else that's happening off the field. The phrase "keep the main thing" is always the main thing. Even at the time that he signed his contract, I remember he goes out there in a nice suit, ties up there at the dais. Money's nice, championships are better. Never going to forget that. I can't get it out of my head when it comes to Jeffrey Lurie talking about before they signed Jalen Hurts to the deal. I believe the phrase he used was Jalen Hurts has a phenomenal dedication to excellence. Oh, I'm sorry, perfection, I believe was the word he used. I don't think I've ever heard any owner, any front office executive say anything nicer about an athlete. And that was before they signed the deal. I remember when Jeffrey Lurie said, I was like, Jeffrey Lurie saying that, this guy going to get paid. And yeah, he got paid. He got paid. This is the guy that we have wanted all this time. All the quarterbacks. I remember watching Randall Cunningham. That's my first real Eagles quarterback that I remember really following. Of course, going into the Rodney Peete era, the Detmer era, the Detmers. Of course, McNabb. There was some great hope there in the beginning, and that fizzled out, unfortunately. But the guy that we were talking about drama, good Lord, all that. This is the guy we want. I mean, Carson Wentz, false prospect. I think that was the term I was using yesterday when it came to the Phillies. False prospect for the Eagles there. All these guys. Nick Foles, 27-2, but he actually delivered a Super Bowl championship in a wild way, but he did. But we want sustained success here in Philadelphia. We want a guy that could be a 15-year guy at the position who's won a Super Bowl, who is all about keeping the main thing the main thing. I'm sure Nicole Lynn knew exactly what she was doing and letting this information out there just about how lucky the Philadelphia Eagles are, how lucky the fan base is to have Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback. But to let that information out there that is all about keeping the team together and putting the team first, great. And I even said going into the offseason, like, what's the next step? If the Eagles are going to go out there and make a move and make a big-time acquisition, if there's going to be anything of like acquiring a Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals or a Myles Garrett from the Browns, what's that going to look like as far as the Eagles go with their cap? And I think about guys like Peyton Manning. I think about guys like Tom Brady, guys that have restructured their own deals so that the team could go out there and afford to add a new piece wherever it might be. Apparently, Jalen was thinking of that from jump. And I think it also goes along the same lines as resetting the market before some other guys sign their deals, that it allows the Eagles that wiggle room and him to stay here in Philadelphia with the pieces he wants around him. So I know it's another phrase that gets mocked, but that's my quarterback. That's your quarterback. That's our quarterback in the city of Philadelphia. The great things just keep on getting said. The great things keep on coming. And I just think we're at the beginning of it. That's the best part about it. And I know, I've said in the past that going through 2008 with the Phillies, them winning, thinking, oh, this is just the first of many, the whole thing. I have that same feeling with the Eagles, that this should be the first of many. And it should be. Got to stay healthy. Guys got to stay focused. Other guys other than Jalen need to keep the main thing, and there's really no doubt to believe that they will. And the other part of it is the culture that you look at. With guys like Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox moving on, now Brandon Graham moving on, you think about who are going to be the keepers of the culture. It's not a concern. It's not a concern for me. And there's going to be things that happen throughout the season. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be low points. There's going to be adversity. People are going to try to make A.J. Brown the bad guy again. It's going to happen. It's one of those things we just have to accept, unfortunately. But all in all, knowing the personalities in place, knowing that the personalities know the personalities in place, and knowing that this team supposedly had those tough conversations last year and made it out on the other side, only to parade down Broad Street, makes me think this team can handle anything. The talent is great. One of the things I was talking about yesterday, I told you guys about that video that the Eagles released. It's out there on YouTube about the rookie's first day. One of the things that Nick Sirianni said to the incoming class was, talent can only get you so far. You got to talk about the core fundamentals here for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's like, talent will get you 10 wins, but everything else, that's what makes you a champion. And that's so true. And it's not just coach speak. That's not just a motivational poster in your high school guidance counselor's office. It's truly what this team believes. And they have keepers of the culture that are going to make sure they're going to push through anything. And it's going to start with your quarterback, as it always should in football. And you have guys that can have those conversations because it's all coming from a great place. It's not coming from, I'm the leader. Things are hitting the wall. I'm going to be the one to fix it. I'm going to be a hero. No, it's not coming from that. It's like, hey, we need to fix this. This is where all the pimples are. This is where all the blemishes are. Let's fix them. That's the team. That's the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And yeah, obviously you want to keep that together as long as humanly possible. And Jalen Hurts' deal, believe it or not, certainly helped doing that. A lot of guys got paid, not just him. I keep on thinking, where'd the money come from for all this? Zach Bond gets paid. Saquon Barkley is the highest paid running back ever. What? Howy's got to have some California king-size mattress, which is a boatload of cashola in it, man. Just a boatload of it. But yeah, how do you not root for Jalen Hurts? How do you not root for him? Sounds impossible to me. We are in the danger zone in the NFL. The time between minicamp and training camp. So far, coast is clear. Don't want to jinx anything. Your Philadelphia Phillies, ladies and gentlemen. Your Philadelphia Phillies have now won 5 games in a row. Yesterday's game, they win 5-2 over the Marlins. The Mets were off. You pick up a half game. You're now 2 games behind them. Look, I'm already doing it. The Phillies are in. They're playing the Mets already in my head. They got 3 games to get there, but the Phillies, in my mind, are already playing the Mets. I am on the edge of my seat because even if they go into that series winning, what would it be, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row? Whatever. You don't beat the Mets. You lose 2 or 3. God forbid you get swept. All is lost in the world of hope and dreams. Shot down. But 1 game at a time. Phillies had Mick Abel on the hill yesterday. 77 pitches. Got into a little bit of trouble in the second inning, but all in all, 5 innings last night. 1 run was scored off Mick Abel. And that run was also bogus, I might add. Second inning, Phillies are up 1-0 after a Trey Turner leadoff home run. 406 feet, scraping the wall in center field. 8th of the year for Trey Turner. He had a 3-hit day. 2 RBIs, 3 hits. Not too shabby there, Trey Turner. Stays red hot. But second inning, 1 out. Mick Abel gives up a triple to Stowers in the right field corner. He then strikes out Wagaman on 3 pitches, gets him swinging at a slider. And then Hicks steps up to the plate and works a 3-2 count. Mick Abel puts a fastball at the knees. So bottom of the zone, but in the zone. If you're looking at K zone, you didn't see the pitch. It literally, the ball was split in half by the bottom white line of the strike zone box there on the TV. Home plate umpire Brian O'Nora calls it a ball, and Hicks takes first base. You now got first and third with 2 outs. Okay. Rise above, Mick Abel. Rise above. Now, here's what was interesting. Norby steps up there, gets the RBI single to center. It's a tie ball game. Caleb Cotham comes out, assuming to calm down or check on Mick Abel. And so there's a mound conference, and then Myers, the next batter, gets hit in the elbow. fastball, middle of the rib cage where his elbow is. He kind of tensed up, and it hit right in the elbow, hit to leave the game. Nothing was said about it after the game. That looked like it was on purpose. Look, you had a first and third situation, as I mentioned before. I don't know if somebody was on base stealing signals, or I don't know how you would first and third, but it looked like it was on purpose. It did not look like it just got away from him. Especially after the mound conference is suspicious. Now, not a story. Maybe I don't know. To me, if I'm saying something looked like it was on purpose, that looked like it was on purpose. Either way, he gets Edwards to line out to Bryson Stott at second base. Bryson Stott had a good backhand stab there at second base to get out of that inning. So it's a 1-1 game. Going to the fourth inning there after a fairly easy third inning there for Mick Abel. Max Kepler hit his home run, his 9th of the season there. Max Kepler heating up because, of course, he is. 2-1 Phillies lead. Now, here's the deal. Jordan Romano comes in the 7th inning. He gets a 1-2, or excuse me, he hit Hicks as well. Another hit batter. Other than that, looked like he was on point. Trey Turner in the top of the 7th inning came in, got a RBI single, making a 3-1 game. Then in the 8th inning, Phillies have a little bit more trouble. This time, Matt Strom's pitching. I think he needed 18 pitches to get through that 8th inning. Runner on third base, and there's a ball hit beyond the first base bag, shallow right field, in foul territory. Otto Kemp, Bryson Stott, Max Kepler all converge, all head to the baseball. The only player that should be attempting to make a play here is Max Kepler, because he's the only one that could catch it and potentially get an out at home. Being that all three players were in pursuit of it, I wish it just would have dropped. I wish they just would have let it drop. Just let the ball drop. I know during the game they were talking about how, you trade a run for 2 outs in this situation. And I'm like, really? Or 1 out in this situation, 2 outs in the inning in total, but getting the extra out. I'm like, really? Award a run never seems like a good idea to me, especially if it's going to make it a 1-run ball game. Because then you're talking about one swing of the bat changing everything. So if Max Kepler has a clear route to the ball, I think he makes the catch and then is able to fire home and at least hold the runner at third. But he's not. He's got traffic. Stott's in his way. Kemp's out there. He's got to watch for all this. Kind of loses it a little bit, but goes into a slide, catches it, pops up, but can't deliver a good throw home, and the run scores. So now it's a 3-2 game. Goes from 3-1 to 3-2. That just seemed like an odd play to me. Perfect world. He's the only one pursuing it. He makes the play and holds the runner at third base. And you still have 2 outs. So, odd. So it's a 1-run game now in the 9th inning. Phillies have the bases loaded with 2 outs, and Alec Boehm steps to the plate. This is where Boehm has just shined pretty damn bright over the years. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs. He gets a 2-2 changeup well down in the zone, people. Shoelace down. He puts the barrel of the bat on it, gets down in the zone with it, goes down to get it, pokes it out in the left field for a 2-run single. Just like that. Breathing room for the Philadelphia Phillies. Orion Kerkering comes in then in the bottom of the 9th inning to get his first career save. Just like that, 12 pitches. And looked pretty comfortable doing it. I do think Rob Thompson, now he didn't say this after the game, but I do think Rob Thompson is going to look to Orion Kerkering as a guy to close out these games for the Phillies from here on out. It's going to be his job to lose. And Orion Kerkering said something interesting during his post-game interview where he was asked about coming in a closer's role. And he said, yeah, hopefully. Okay. But then he said, but we all have to look at it as a closer, a closer by committee mentality, where at any minute, at any second, any game, we could be called upon to close out the game. Yeah, that's fine. I want that in my bullpen. Sure. Though I could have it, so I better be mentally prepared to go out there and do it. Great. Good for you. But I also rather just have somebody that's going to come in and slam the door. And I liken it to this. When you have a great closer in baseball, and look, for half a season, Craig Kimbrell was an all-star closer for the Phillies. Remember that? Feels like a million years ago. It wasn't. It was 2.5. I liken it to the tush push. Nick Sirianni always talks about the tush push. Oh, it's like we never have a 1st and 10. We have a 1st and 9. That's pretty baller. That's pretty cool. When you have a closer, you don't got to worry about pitching 9 innings. You just got to worry about pitching 8, especially if you're on the road and you have the lead. So for me, closing it out, if you can develop, look, it's one save. I'm not saying he is the guy, but I'm saying he's going to get that opportunity now. Have at it, Orion Kerkering. And you know what? Last night, I was like, when was the last time he got shelled, Orion Kerkering? He hasn't allowed, listen, Orion Kerkering hasn't allowed an earned run in over a month. About 5 weeks, he hasn't allowed an earned run. That's pretty damn good. So I gave him the opportunity last night to go out there and get the save, and Orion Kerkering got that save. Now, here's the thing that I just find fascinating. Because as I was saying earlier, we just find excuses for pitchers now to take him out of a game. He's got too many up-downs. He's got what? He's got too many up-downs. What does that mean? He sat down and he got up again? Oh, no. Is his hamstring okay? It's a thing now. It's a thing in baseball. So now regular rest apparently is a threat for Mick Abel. Courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia, here is Rob Thompson after the game when he was asked about, why did you pull Mick Abel after the 5th inning at 77 pitches?
Well, number one, he's going to be working on regular rest next start. So wanted to kind of pull him back a little bit because he's not really used to that. So he's going to have 4 days rest and then go get it again. I explained it to him after we brought him out, and he understood.
So yesterday, all right, 6 days, pitched on the 4th against Toronto, 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings of work. Then 6 days later, extended. He went out there against the Cubs, 4 innings, 3 earned runs, unfortunately. Wah, wah. 89 pitches. Yesterday, against the Marlins, 5 innings, 77 pitches, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 walk. So the 16th, the 10th, and the 4th he pitched on. So now he's going to be on regular rest. I've never heard that before in my life. When he got pulled at 77 pitches in the 5th inning, I went, is he okay? I hope he's okay. On the broadcast, Krucker and T-Mac were speculating, well, it's a heart of the 3, 4, and 5 hitters are coming up to the plate. Maybe they just don't want him to face the 3rd time. And I'm like, that seems odd too. I'm like, I hope he's okay. I would not have expected regular rest to be an issue. Really, what Rob Thompson should have said, I guess it would have made a little bit more sense, is we want to develop a pattern with him, and he's been going on 6, so we want to make sure we get him on 5. I don't know. Maybe that's just semantics, but good Lord. Regular rest. Watch out for that regular rest, everybody. It'll get you. Hey, they won the game. Mick Abel looked good doing it. Your offense was there when you needed it. Big hits came up when you needed big hits. 2 home runs, 2 solo shots, an RBI single. Bryson Stott got a double for himself. Nice to see him get on base. Otto Kemp took the oofer yesterday, unfortunately. But still, loving him at first base. Jesus Luzardo on the hill today against that Cal Quantrill guy. Looking forward to Jesus Luzardo taking it to his old mates. Simple as that. Real quick on the NBA Finals, I pretty much said all I wanted to say about it in the open. I emptied everything there. But, 1 win away. Oklahoma City Thunder, 1 win away from locking up their first title in franchise history. How about that? As Oklahoma City Thunder, of course. Well, I don't think the Super Sonics ever win. I don't think they did. But anyway, good for the Oklahoma City Thunder. 1 win away from doing that, and I do think they do it. Let me tell you about the great people. Oh, my goodness gracious. At the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. And don't forget about the amazing Game Time app when it comes to Game Time picks. That filters out all the fluff and lets you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation? Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportsnation.com. How about Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check, see how wonderful people are doing on this fine Tuesday morning. I do hope you guys are all good on regular rest. I do hope that's the... Okay. Pulling it up right now, seeing how everyone's doing. What's going on? Sean Kilrain, hello. Right. Good morning, Farzi and friends. Great to have our guest pop on in last couple of minutes yesterday. Oh, Lil Toots. Yes, of course. Of course. What? No, she showed you. She got the cast off. That did happen. April, good morning. Jason A., what's popping? Oh, was it raining down there too? Yeah, it's terrible up here. Just nonstop for like a week. Danny Prado, what's going on, Danny? Yes, actually some pretty rough flooding. Ooh, that's not good. Sorry to hear that. Tate Jeffries, that's my guy. What's going on? Kevin, hello. Broken Bell Network, small ball is the best ball. Well, they did hit 2 home runs. Broken Bell Network, excuse me. Topper has to go. Like, here's my thing. I said maybe 2 weeks ago that Rob Thompson's managing for his job. If the Phillies continue, like if they continue to downward spiral after the Pirates series, for instance, then yeah, he's absolutely managing for his job. Before they won 9 in a row, I said that he was managing for his job. They've now won 5 straight. They have to beat the Mets. They have to win that series against the Mets. They have to. Take every other team that tells us nothing. Daz, Mick Abel has been a nice surprise. He absolutely has been a nice surprise. Daz, I can't stand how they baby these pitchers. Let me go off on a tangent here. I guess I'm just old as hell now. And I really do. I think about this because I think generationally a lot, whether it's in my own family or it's baseball or sports in general. I think generationally and just as my own study of society. Like if I get frustrated with people that are significantly younger than me, is it because I'm old or is it because they really are lazy? Something like that, just as an example. And I'm like, I think about this a lot in sports. It's like, for instance, the pitchers. Let's stick with this. You can't tell me that going to the ballpark and thinking that, Kurt Schilling is going to pitch 9 innings. Like, you can't tell me that wasn't more exciting, or 7 innings or 8 innings. You can't tell me that wasn't more exciting than, all right, it's the 4th inning. We don't want him to see the lineup twice, so we're going to get him out. Huh? Like, that's not exciting. That's dumb. You also can't tell me in basketball that watching a style of play that was about attacking the rim, getting an N1, getting somebody else in foul trouble, getting him out of the game. You can't tell me that strategy wasn't better than, I'm just going to go down and shoot a bunch of threes. Like, you can't tell me that 90s, early 2000s basketball wasn't better than what we're watching now. Yeah, it's cool to see Steph Curry, hoisting threes and knocking them down from the logo and all that. But it was still better when you had guys that were, like, really battling out there to get to the rim. That was more fun for me. And football, hey, look, I understand that football is dangerous. We've all known for a long time football is dangerous. But what we watched certainly wasn't safe. Growing up, wasn't close to safe. The safety of the game, integrity of the shield, those were not things that were ever mentioned. Now, fortunately, they are, for the well-being of these players, and we still get the sport. But that doesn't mean that what we watched growing up wasn't better. Just in terms of isolating any health issues. Excluding that, everything was great. I look at those 3 sports as sports that have changed dramatically. Hockey's become so much more of a faster game than what I remember, but fighting never hardly ever happens, I should say, unless it's Team USA, Team Canada in the World Cup, that kind of thing. But you can't tell me that what we watched growing up for a lot of us, it wasn't better than what we're seeing now. Is it different? Yeah, it's absolutely different, but is it better? No. Going to the ballpark, knowing a guy could go 9 innings, knowing a guy's goal was to get 9 innings. And if he didn't get 9 innings, you're like, oh, man, that sucks for him. It was like taking a loss already. Now it's like, he gave you 6? He's a workhorse. Oh, Daz, that's right. Paul Skeen's getting pulled. That was the Mick Abel. Or was that the 8th inning? Are you talking about the one where he got pulled in the 8th in Pittsburgh? That's pretty wild. Jeremy Von Skyver, what's going on? Good morning, everyone. Abel looked much better last night. Got his beauty sleep. No eye bags. That's right. I forgot about that. He was up a little bit too late that night. Ken Saw, good morning, brother. God bless you guys. My friend, your daughter. Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Have a great day. You too, Ken. Appreciate it. Philly Magic. It feels like the team is more relaxed without Bryce. Huh. It's like they try too hard to match what he does, and they push themselves hard or too hard. They just seem way more relaxed. I don't know, just an idea. That hasn't jumped out to me. I'm not saying you're not right. Maybe it is. I don't know. I will say it's been my experience watching teams that lose that star player, that the kind of Superman, but even this for me doesn't apply to the Phillies. I have thought about this because like Kyle Schwarber's still there, Trey Turner's still there. Like this lineup should be okay without Bryce Harper. It's like we were talking about Jose Alvarado when he got suspended. They're like, oh, well, the Phillies, people are acting like all doom and gloom. I'm like, my take on it then was, yes, this sucks, but Jose Alvarado can't be the one to sink a ship that has the 4th highest payroll in baseball. So the Superman complex comes in where, Bryce will save us, and then the star goes away and somebody else steps up. The other guys were already saving you. Nick Castellanos was saving you. Kyle Schwarber was saving you. Trey Turner was saving you. Alec Boehm was saving you. I'm not saying get rid of Bryce, but this is something to think about, says Philly Magic. Thank you. Anthony Motti, Farzi, do you trust the bullpen besides Orion Kerkering? I can't say I fully trust anyone else. One of the things I like about Orion Kerkering taking over the closer role, if that's truly what's happening, is that I like Jordan Romano as a closer. I said he isn't it. He was a closer for the Blue Jays, back-to-back All-Star appearances. He might be in a much more comfortable role now, not being that last guy. Sure, he hit a guy last night. Sorry, Deborah. Sure, that happened. But he might be in a much better role being a 7th inning guy or an 8th inning guy, and Orion Kerkering might be able to take off. The fact that Orion Kerkering, and this one it was kind of like it wasn't under his breath, but it wasn't the main point I think some people took away. Orion Kerkering literally said, the question was like, you as the closer. He's like, yeah, hopefully. And then he talked about a closer by committee, which is nice. You throw everybody else a bone. And you also take yourself off the hook a little bit, because if you unfortunately fail in this situation, it's like, well, it's still closer by committee. I was never the closer. But he wants it. Good for him. He should want it. I want the guy to want it. I want a guy to want the ball in the 9th inning in a close game. Tate Jeffrey, my guy. So to answer your question, Anthony, no, I don't trust the bullpen fully, but this might be the best organization of the bullpen. This might be the best way to deploy the arms in your bullpen with Orion Kerkering as the end all be all. Tate Jeffries is going on. My guy Jalen, hell yeah. Right, what's going on? Farzi ran of the day. Why are the Flyers more irrelevant than the Cowgirls? 1975, 1995. That's funny. Winning attitude by Jalen, says Sean Gillespie. Absolutely. Jerry Von Skyver, what's going on? Instead of Dombrowski making another bad deadline deal, why not bring up Painter in the second half? You're going to... I think Painter's coming up in the second half of the season. I don't think you're going to use Andrew Painter out of the bullpen, though. This question came up on Postcast last night as well. I would doubt very much that he comes out of the bullpen. Maybe postseason, because you're going to have Zach Wheeler, you're going to have Jesus Luzardo, you're going to have Christopher Sanchez, you're going to have Ranger Suarez. Look, here's I hate to. I don't. You want to talk about trust issues? I don't trust Ranger Suarez. He's great. He's great. He's pitched great. He was great last year. Pitched great last year. Back issue. I heard some rumblings of not exactly staying in shape during that process, which is difficult. You got a back issue. I have trust issues with Ranger Suarez. So if you're looking at 1, 2, 3 in the playoffs, I'm looking at Wheeler, I'm looking at Luzardo, and I'm looking at Sanchez. Everybody else goes to the pen. Everybody else becomes long relief. Suarez, Abel, Painter. Painter's going to be up in the second half of the season. I have no doubt about that, but I don't think he's going to be a guy to join the bullpen. That's the wrong mouse. April. The interesting thing is that there are so many players you would hear that about and think BS, but Jalen, it totally makes sense. Oh, the agent saying that he wanted to make sure his team stayed around him. I absolutely agree. See, I've talked to people, and I think I've said this before. I've talked to people out of the market, people that have no relation to Eagles fans or anything like that, and they're just like, this Jalen guy. They're like, they read his comments and they roll their eyes like, oh, this guy. I'm like, dude, he lives it. This guy lives it. If my man Tom Finer's watching, he lives his act. It's a body double. Sorry. All right. If you know, you know. If anyone can name that horrible impression I just did, the reference I made more so than the impression, you win a hat. Character over Cassius Leon. That's my quarterback. Go Birds. Absolutely. Yeah, right. I think this is a good. This is worth saying. Absolutely. He's building a brand. I get it. Personality, letting others speak for him. Yeah, I think he's got a good understanding of that, though. But again, with him, I buy it. There's other guys I look at and go, yeah, I don't think so. And totally different, but an example, and I think I've used it before. Gabe Kapler was looked at by a lot of people in Philly as a total fraud. He was not. Gabe Kapler was exactly who he was. Who you saw is exactly who he was. Very intentional guy, very genuine. We just, in our lives, a lot of us, if you're a Philadelphia area born and bred type person, you don't know many people like Gabe Kapler. Gabe Kapler, you don't know that guy. But that's him. Talking to people that really knew him personally, people outside the media, then me talking to him, but I'm in the media, so it doesn't count. But that's really who he is. Tell me about your day. Like, that's Gabe Kapler. Like, let's talk about feelings. Let's air it out. That's Gabe Kapler. Rizzy68 Scott, what's going on? Hurts is our guy. Oh, yes, Jerry Von Skyver. Sorry, the Bobby Hoying error. How dare I? That's so true. That is wild. Yeah, I think about that a lot. Dan Marino, I think about that more than I should. Dan Marino, I think it was his second year. It wasn't his rookie year. I think it was his second year in the league. Went to the Super Bowl, lost, and then never made it back. What the heck? I think that's the way that went down. 1983. (12-4), lost the divisional round. Second year in the league, lost to the 49ers. Well, they got blown out by the 49ers. 38-16. Was that the one Montana won before Rice got there, or was Rice already on the team? Jerry Rice was not on the team yet. Holy Stromboli, Joe Montana. 331, 3 touchdowns. A 127 passer rating in the Super Bowl. Was that Joe Montana guy good? Was he like Tom Brady? I'm just kidding. Wow. How about that? Dan Marino, 318 yards and a touchdown. He got out-passed. 50 pass attempts. He got out-passed in a blowout. That's wild. That's wild. Chris Lankson. Love how he continues to prove haters wrong. Absolutely. That's his fuel. It certainly is. Sean Kilrain. Hello, buddy. Orion Kerkering, 0.53 ERA since May 1st. Wow, now 254, career 239. Not bad. What's up, cousin? How does a championship season change how you go about your business in the offseason? Talking points, content, etc. Yeah. Me personally, how I go about my business? Or Jalen Hurts? I hope either way. Well, I'll tell you how I stay a champion. No, here's how I think I'll answer this two ways. One, for Jalen Hurts, it doesn't change anything for him. I find it so amazing that this team had such a great season, had a blowout win in the NFC Championship game, a blowout win in the Super Bowl, and then like 6 hours after the game, everyone's bored by it. That's wild. Secondly, I can remember being in Pittsburgh after the Steelers won with Tomlin. I was at that Super Bowl, and I remember listening to Sports Talk Radio in Pittsburgh thinking, man, like, how do you crush an Eagles? How do you crush a team that just won a Super Bowl? We can't do that with the Eagles. You know, how would we handle a championship in Philadelphia? We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. And it turns out, no, we know exactly what to do with ourselves. We still criticize the team. There's always a blemish. Always a blemish. Why the hell is this being weird? Sean Killen, Alec Boehm ranks among Major League third basemen since May 1st. 63 hard hit balls, that's first. 50 hits, that's third. Let's get to an all-star game. Jerry Von Skyver, pisses me off that they baby these guys. I'm with you. Ken, this is how I think that Mound Conference went. This is how that Mound Conference went with Caleb Cotham before Hicks got hit by Abel. Mound Conference. Hey, kid, do you want pizza after the game? Kid, yes. By the way, hit this son of a. Get him good. Yes, Skipper. Daz is on the Mason Miller train. Don't blame you. Last night was a clear indication we need computer umps. I'm with you. Sean Gillespie, you like that one? Yeah. Philly Magic 368. Last night, clear indication we need computer. I just need balls and strikes called by a device. I can't do it anymore. I have been out on balls and strikes by humans for a long time now. I eagerly await either the challenge. The thing that blew me away, I read the column by Marcus Hayes during spring training about 52% of the time hitters were right in their challenges. Now, this also keep this in mind. Trey Turner just messed around with Max Scherzer and challenged a call that didn't need to be challenged. He just challenged it for the hell of it. So with some players maybe not taking it seriously, you got to factor that in as well. But 52% of the time, the hitter was right to challenge, and the ump was wrong. For you to argue against it is ridiculous. For anyone to argue against it is ridiculous. So hold on a second. The hitters were right half the time? For you to have an argument to support umpires to continue to call balls and strikes, you would say, oh, well, the umpires were right, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, the umpires were right. But for it to be like half the time they were wrong, and this is still a debate, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's the closest thing I'll have to a real rant in the dark shirt today, I think. Unless somebody else sets me off. Oh, he sat up and down? Oh, he's exhausted. I swear umpires are paid to move the strike zone at their will, says Jason A. I don't blame people. Topper is insufferable at times. Other times, I like his attitude. Well, he's always even keel. That's for damn sure. What's your thoughts on Hurts wanting to help the team when he signed his contract? That he's awesome. He continues to be awesome. And this is a time that we need to appreciate for all of history. The time that we have right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jason A, I love Harper, but honestly, Philly Magic, kind of right this year. Harper just giving me bad vibes. Do you think it's his contract, him wanting a contract extension? It's possible. Love when J-Mac says stop it. What? What'd I miss? The mommy. Hope you have a great day, Farzy. Go Phils. Birds are just around the corner, too. How about that? What's my score for week 1? That's a great question. I'm not there yet. I'll go and give you 33-27 Eagles. That's what I'll give you.
Well, that's pretty dope.
Take away the scoreboard.
Just take away the scoreboard, though. It'll be a closer game. Take away that scoreboard. Just like Micah says. Oh, and John says stop it. Oh, speaking of which, I got to get out of here. They're coming up next. Birds 365. Morning Rush. Sky Motorcars. SkyMotorcars.com. Birds 365 coming up in 4 minutes. And Phillies 610 tonight. Catch me on Locked On Phillies postcast. Also catch me on Locked On 76ers podcast later today. And catch me on Locked On Eagles Squad podcast coming up at noon today. See you guys then. Have a great rest of your day. Where's the thing with the thing? There it is.